Oh boy. Some of you may have heard this story before. This is one of those many situations I find myself in, for being a human. Georgia, it's a magical place. 6 years ago, before my wife and I moved up to Georgia from Florida, before we moved into our hood, and I say hood, not neighborhood, because there ain't no neighbors around here. Beforehand, we drove up to Georgia to check out the living options, and on our way back to Miami, we discussed which house we should move into. I was around a group of cars at the time, a proper sandwich, a car in the front and a car in the rear. I think you know where this is heading. We were all going the same speed, and yes, the speed limit. We're passing South Georgia at the time, just moments before the tip of Florida's border. Let's just say at the time, South Georgia was a bit different than Atlanta. Atlanta tends to have a little bit more diversity. We were almost through our 9-hour journey back to sunny Miami. And then I heard something behind me.
That's the sound of the police!
You know the natural reaction when you hear that noise. If you're a follower of the law, you hear that noise and you're like, let me get out of the policeman's way. All right, so let me move to the next lane. He moves with me. I look at my wife and I ask her, was I speeding? With both of us with a puzzled look on our face, we pull over to the side of the highway. So the cop comes up to the window and I got all my papers ready. I even got my birth certificate and everything is laminated. He asks, do you know why I pulled you over? Slight over-exaggeration. I say, no, I don't, officer. And he tells me I was speeding. And now, honestly, I'm like, what? But I'm not gonna argue with the cop, okay? Especially as a black man talking to a white cop. See, depending on where and how you grew up, you might be looking at this beautiful caramel color and thinking, man, you could totally pass for a white man. Maybe right now in the right light. But back then, I used to live in Miami. You got a natural tan by walking outside to get the mail. So for some reason, I was very calm. I mean, I didn't think I did anything wrong. At worst case scenario, I get a ticket. So I say, sorry, I don't think I was speeding. I mean, I could have been distracted by arguing with my wife about houses. He gives me a look and takes my license and registration and goes back to his cop car. He comes back to my window and says, there is something on your license. And for some reason, he can't look it up because the computers are down? Okay. But then he asks me to step out the car. I step out the car and he starts to get familiar with my body, patting me down. And I'm like, what is going on? He tells me next time I should pay more attention to the road. When I was about to say something, he cuts me off while he puts handcuffs on me and asks my wife if I hit her. If I hit her. Well, what am I? Just throwing slaps while I'm driving? My wife had the most what the hell face I've ever seen. She was like, no. My wife gets out the car and tells the cops, what the heck are you doing? Yes, cops. Because while I was getting bent over my car, another cop car pulled up. Meanwhile, I was still calm for some reason. It could be half shock, half I don't want to make this any worse. They shoved me in the back of their cop car. Now, let me give you a visual. The back seat of cop cars are not comfortable. All right, think about going inside of a regular car, okay? Going in the back seat of your friend's car. You know how sometimes they'd be like, yo, I need some space, and they just drive their front seat all the way back on you? Yeah, that's how it feels to be in a cop car. Now, I had no room for my legs, and I was handcuffed from the behind. I had to ask them kindly, can you switch my handcuffs from the behind to in front of me? And you know what they said? You know what happened? They switched my handcuffs to the front. Nice guys. Even though they acted like I was prepared to run away. So I reached the station, or what I thought was the station. They took all my belongings from me and put me inside of a holding cell. And you guessed it, everyone in the holding cell was, let's just say there was some diversity in the holding cell. And after speaking with them, I found out that everyone there was from out of town. After about 5 hours in the holding cell, I saw a few people leave. and I thought they were just getting checked out. And what I mean about a holding cell is a room with no windows or bars and a little toilet in the corner just in case you want to take care of your business in front of people you just met. Anyways, I get called out the room and they started to process me, beyond the fingerprint stuff. And I'm like, what? I don't remember the exact conversation I had with this woman that was doing this, but I just remember being in shock and not knowing what to ask after she answered my, of course, classic, "Why am I here?" question. She answers with, "There is something on your license in Florida. We don't know what it is, but we're gonna process you until Monday when you will have your trial." On this particular day, it was Saturday, okay? Not to mention that it would be $1,000 to bail me out. That's like 2 PS4s, 2 mortgages, 1 good gaming PC. That's like a night at Unicorn Valley. After she's done, I get taken to the shower and asked to strip down. No, I'm not talking about, oh, strip down, baby, and leave the lingerie on. No. I'm talking about full birthday suit. I had to bend over and cough in front of a grown man watching me closely. Just in case you don't quite get it, let me give you a visual, okay? I was bending over in front of him like I was about to twerk. He wanted to make sure I wasn't carrying anything in my anus. After he was satisfied, he hands me an orange jumpsuit. Now, I was a big fella at the time. When I put on the orange jumpsuit, it was a little tight. The guy tells me that he has nothing in my size at the moment. So I get escorted away from the holding cells and I realize this place is a lot bigger than I thought it was. I started to see many long hallways filled with bars. And then a moment later, I get shoved into one with around 10 huge guys. I know what you're thinking, and yes, they were all black and they had muscles on top of muscles. Now, why would they shove me into a jail cell max level with endgame content already unlocked? Why not shove me into like a beginner, newbie jail cell? You know what I'm saying? For the level 1s out there, for the virgins out there. Well, there was that one white guy just kind of laid out on the floor. I kid you not, could be dead. Probably not, but the body language was speaking volumes. I noticed that there are only 6 beds and 1 toilet that was nice and free from privacy, so the other brothers can see what you're packing. They also had 1 TV in the corner, and I'm not joking here. The channel it was on was BET. Currently a Beyonce music video, and homeboys in there were getting excited. Not to say I saw them getting excited. They were just kind of huddling around the TV. So I didn't go in there any type of way. I didn't just bust in and be like, "Yo, what's good, homies? What's good?" I just went in and sat down on the bench and mind my own business. The guard behind me tells me that he's gonna bring me pillows and sheets before bedtime, and when the inmates were messing around with the guard, telling him to bring him extra pillows. I just sat down and watched the TV. I wasn't about to piss anybody off with any intimate eye contact. I ain't gonna lie, my mind drifted to how many showers I was going to have to take here, and hopefully not dropping the soap. You would think they would switch to body wash and, the little sponges, you know what I'm saying? For me, I, for one, love smelling fruity. 2 seconds later, a dude walks up to me and asks me, "Why am I in here?" So let me stop here and tell you what I think what was wrong with my license. About a week before going to Georgia, a cop stops us and asks us to renew our insurance. Now, we just got married a few months ago, so that car's insurance was under my wife's dad's name, and he apparently didn't pay it. So the regular stuff, go to court, show proof that you have insurance, everything will be okay. So the insurance was paid immediately, but the ticket was still on my account. So I'm guessing that's what the cops saw. And I'm still guessing. I don't even know what happened. See, this is a good time. Guys, know your rights. Don't be like me. Anyways, I tell the inmate the story that I was speeding and I got pulled over and now I'm here. Blah, 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 blah. And he says, yeah, this happens all the time. And that's just what cops do around here. They stop people from out of town and put a large bail on them that you won't get back until you go to court. And if you don't pay it, you get held for a very long time. Listen, this is what the inmate told me, okay? And I was not about to argue with him. So far, I'm in the friend zone, but I'm pretty sure that's how it starts. Okay, I'm not gonna be like that white boy just laid out on the floor, still there, with no pillows or sheets, I might add. When I looked around, I realized some beds had more pillows and sheets than others. I know what that means. I wasn't about to get my sheets taken away, if you know what I mean. A moment later, a guard comes up to the bars and tells me, "You got bailed out." Yes. As I walked down the hallway, it started to settle in a bit. And I turned to the guard and asked her, "Was this a prison?" She turned and looked at me with soulless eyes, like she hasn't slept since ever, and says, "Yeah." At that point, all calmness was out. I was ready to go. I got out of the prison and my wife told me she was almost not able to get me out because the person in the front office was saying that you couldn't check out people after 7 p.m. She got a little rowdy and she was already pissed that this was happening. Plus, the cop came back after they put me in the back seat and asked her, did I hit her? Plus, there wasn't any cell reception. So a lot of payphone calls later, my best friend's girlfriend spot me $1,000 to get me out of jail. So shout outs to Dorothy. That came out of the moving to Georgia money. But that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm just glad I got out of that orange jumpsuit, that very tight orange jumpsuit, because the other inmates were starting to look at me in ways that I was not comfortable with.